Hello. We have found this lovely Subaru Chaser, I believe.
It's a Subaru Chaser, yeah.
Yeah, he's been abandoned, it looks like, on a jack stand. He has a fuel line hanging out.
That's the whole fuel pump.
Let's see. I don't want to creep too hard, but I do also. Fuel pump. Someone has left their tool there forever.
So rusty.
It's a very rusty boy. This jack stand is destroying everything here. I don't want to creep. I do want to creep. I'll stop saying I don't want to because I do want to. But he has been left here. 2017 is when he was last insured. And he's very lovely, but very dumpy. And man, he needs some love.
It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Dumpiness. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Yeah. Sorry, little bean.
So to catch it kind of up where we're at, we saw last time that there was a huge hole in the floor, so it was a big problem. The rest of the car is super nice, but that hole in the floor is kind of an issue. So, if we just drag your eyes over here, you'll see a red floor. Now this red floor looks maybe like a little bit familiar floor, but here's the interesting part. It's a real floor, it's all there. So we actually cut a floor out of another Geo Metro. This one is actually a Pontiac Firefly Turbo in its life, and it had been rolled over, so this was...
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, the roof was, well, not rolled over, sorry, the roof was damaged for some reason.
Is it because you guys rolled it over by hand? No.
After this, you are going to see some very brutal cuts on here, like this corner here, all the way back here. You're actually going to see some cuts. These cuts are made with a tool you'd not expect for pulling a floor out of a car. Some of the cuts, like these beautiful, like crisp and clean cuts, are done with a angle grinder. But how did they cut the floor out of a car?
You have 5 seconds. I wonder what it could be. Did you guess hatchet?
The hatchet was a panic sort of rescue moment, if you want to say. We had meant to pick up our Sawzall. Sawzall, if you're going to be cutting the floor out of a car, the Sawzall is very important. What ends up happening is your angle grinder has only a certain depth to it. So the blade is maybe a 6-inch blade or a 5-inch blade or whatever they're sold in. But you can only use about maybe 2 inches of that when you go to cut into the frame. And so there you have the big handle of the angle grinder, and it won't really get into some places. So a Sawzall is a reciprocating saw. The blade is almost like a hacksaw, and it sticks out, I don't know, a few, sometimes like up, I think you can get 12-inch blades.
Oh my God.
Those cut through really well, but we forgot our Sawzall when we drove all the way up to Parksville. And so we did a bunch of the hard cuts as best we could with the blades on the angle grinder, and then any of the else, yeah, we sort of force cut.
I love that force cut. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting. I hadn't done it that way before. I've cut up a lot of cars before, but I hadn't cut up one with a hatchet. And the gentleman who helped us, who we bought the car from, was exceptionally talented at it, surprisingly. So it was.
I'm scared.
Yeah, no, he was a really nice guy. He had a couple of these. So to give you some context and kind of like what we need to do and how we're going to do it, you're going to see the floor here. This is actually the back section, so you can see the rear wheels here. This would be going down to towards the front of the car. Underneath the driver's side, from basically this edge all the way up to about here is trash.
Garbage. On the other car.
On the other car.
Yeah.
And so we got as much of the floor as possible so that if there's any other sections that we need to do, or if we want to try to maintain the original like sort of shape of the floor, we can do so. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of spot weld drilling and things like that to like quite move this over properly.
Yeah.
But it is as much of a patch panel as we could get.
Sweet.
So
I know that the Pontiac Firefly is the same. Is there any possibility of differences at all?
If you're watching in the America, Pontiac Firefly was a Geo Metro. I think they're a Canadian-only version of it. We also had sold in Canada a Suzuki Swift version of it, which I don't think made it to the US. You would have had it as a Chevy Sprint. We also had Chevy Sprints here, so we essentially had 4 of the same car sold in Canada. It was a bit of a mess, but what ended up happening is they tried to launch the Asuna brand, and when the Asuna brand failed or wasn't a good idea, they then sold the Chevy Sprint version of it. As far as I remember, that's the story. But yeah, so essentially you can pick a lot of different versions. The only thing that's a little bit different is this is a hatchback or hardtop version of the car, and it's actually a bit longer here than it is on the convertible. The convertible, for whatever reason, is shorter. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of custom stuff, but
on the whole.
What's that?
On the whole, it should be.
Yeah, on the whole, it's not going to be a direct or like factory replacement or a really fancy restoration. It's just that we have some similar metal to match into the car as best we can.
Sweet.
This car is for me, so as long as it's safe and I'll pass an inspection, the car will be going through an inspection. So yeah,
sweet.
Hopefully everything's going to be good.
Awesome. Is there anything else you need to do on this car besides the floor, do you think?
Yeah, so you'll see actually some posts here. These posts are in an amazingly annoying location. These hold all the fuel rails or fuel lines and brake lines on the car. Our rust panel patch is going to be directly underneath the original fuel and brake lines. It is likely that we'll have to replace them, which isn't a big deal. They're about $7 to $15 per line. There's going to be about 4 lines. But if we can save the originals, that'd be great. There's just a bit of a general brake work to be done on the car. All the ball joints and bushings seem to be pretty good on it, surprisingly. But yeah, the brakes feel a little bit soft. So worst case scenario, we have to replace the brake lines, and oh no, I have fresh brake lines on my car.
Oh no, I got steel braided brake lines by accident. And that's sport time.
Yeah, and so yeah, this is kind of just our big patch panel here. Most of it's really good. It's all pretty solid stuff. The rockers on this car were starting to go, but they're kind of okay-ish on my car. So essentially, the split line here will be pretty good. And yeah, we'll use as much of it as we can.
Eat.
It seems to be that every person that you talk to, so if you go onto your local sales site right now, you know, your Craigslist or your Kijiji or whatever, there's not a lot of Geo Metros up for sale. There are some, but there's not a lot. But if you make a phone call and you call somebody who has Geo Metro parts, they will always tell you they have 6 in their yard. For whatever reason, people love and cherish and hold on to these cars aggressively. Actually, we were watching a Netflix special where is a shop that restores muscle cars, and their personal car to get around is a Geo Metro convertible. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's obviously the star of the show.
Yeah, 100%.
And so yeah, this guy had 3 or 4 Metros, and while we were driving up there, another person with 5 of them who lived nearby called.
And you almost went to someone in Vancouver who also was like, I have 3.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody seems to have like a pile of these cars. They're just not for sale.
Yeah, unless you ask. Unless you take a hatchet out.
If you say that you have one, you're part of the club, though. So all you have to do is buy that one that you find, and then you're in.
Automatic friends. Yeah.
No, these are most of them are manual.
Really bad jokes with Quentin.
Yeah, so this is our floor. Ta-da!
Sweet.
Yeah.
Can you thank the viewers for watching?
Hey, if you're hanging out watching with us, thank you.
What? What? Why?
What are you thinking?
The parking spots? He's just another car. He's just another car.
Are you fucking stupid? No, are you actually fucking stupid?
Put lights in your car.
We...
Yeah, go for it.